Hi, I'm Gene McLaughlin. I'd like to welcome you to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. On this program, the mayor has an opportunity to chat with you about things taking place in the township and to introduce you to people making things happen in the township. And speaking of people making things happen in the township, I'm delighted to welcome our guest today, Tom Gerity. Tom is the fire marshal and the coordinator for the Office of Emergency Management. Tom, good to have you here.
Thank you.
Tom, I think you are probably the busiest man in the township.
Well, I don't know about the busiest, but I'm up there, I guess.
You wear 3 hats.
A couple, yes, I do.
Okay, so you're fire marshal, you're OEM, and you're CERT.
Correct.
Can we talk first about the fire department, since that seemed to be your first place where you started out, I think, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Back in 1974.
How about the fire department? Can you talk a little bit about the activities now? How's it changed? Or
Well, the biggest thing I see in the activities is really to try to get the volunteers to come out to staff all our fire departments.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just Old Bridge, it's just throughout the state of New Jersey. Mm-hmm. Everybody's hurting because, you know, wives and their husbands are working 2, 3
Right.
jobs, and they just don't have the time to come out and volunteer anymore.
Right.
The other thing is training. When I joined, they were, gave me a helmet, a turnout coat, and a pair of boots and said, "There you go, kid."
Yeah.
Today, it's a lot more involved. They have to go to a 159-hour Fire 1 class.
Really?
After passing that, there's other specialty classes, a whole Fire 2 program, which is another 108 hours. And then you get into, of course, extrication, confined space, hazardous materials, and a whole realm of other things. So the technology's come a long way with the fire departments. We have much better gear.
Right.
We're much more equipped, but our manpower is the thing. We are strapped. Every set of hands helps.
Right.
We just don't have a lot of set of hands, especially during the day.
Right.
If people are out there, I would encourage them to contact their local fire department if they have time to volunteer, because we can sure use the help.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Mayor, how are you today?
I'm well, Gene. Thank you.
Good. Mayor, if we can touch on a few things before we get back to Tom. Number one, the municipal lot out here looks fantastic.
Right, finally, it needed it. New curbing, new asphalt, new striping. It looks a lot better. We've improved the parking capability with loading and unloading zones now in certain buildings. And it needed it. It was due.
Right.
And it's nice to see it. It looks very nice now this time of year.
Yeah. But you had mentioned that you might be doing some other construction projects around town too, right?
Sure, the capital projects now we're going to get underway, so people are going to see a lot of paving, a lot of drainage projects, a lot of curbing happening throughout the entire township. Not only is the township, but the county's going to be paving some roads. Everyone knows the Route 18. The state is doing the Route 18 project now. That's a lot better already, with the first course down on most of the roadway. So all long overdue, and we're lucky they're getting done.
Mayor, since we were last together, there were some unfortunate incidents here in the township. Has some accidents with some young people.
Yeah, Gino, there was a stretch of 2 weeks there where we had a number of serious accidents where people lost their lives, and the town, I believe, is still in mourning. And our thoughts and our prayers go to the family and friends of these young victims. Anytime we lose someone at that young age, we always ask ourselves the questions, what might have been. So I ask everyone to please make good decisions, watch out for each other out there. Alcohol seems to have played a role in both these accidents. Please don't drink and drive. There's so many options out there for you to do now with Uber and Lyft and calling someone. There's no reason to get behind the wheel.
No, I guess not. I'm sure the drinking and driving.
And the county prosecutor has taken over both because of the severity of the accidents, and lives have been lost, lives have been ruined, and lives have been changed forever.
Well, that's the thing. Lives have been ruined too. I mean, these young people that cause these accidents. I mean, they're
unfortunately, and I hope we have a nice calm spell for a while now.
Okay,
we had our share.
Thank you. Tom, if we can pick up for a moment with some of the things you've been interested in over the years since I've known you. You're always interested in fire hazards and educating the public. What's happening right now?
Yeah, well, right now, one thing to start with is, with the season being what it is, a lot of barbecue grills are out on the backyards, on the back decks, and porches. And you know, for the most part, they're safe, right? But sometimes it's the human things that we do. We don't put it far enough away from the building, or if the charcoal grill type fire, we build it a little bit too high, or they think because they're cleaning the backyard, they can throw it all into a barrel and start burning it. You know, that's the kind of things we see. But it would be better if they could keep the barbecue grills 10 feet from the building.
Right.
Make sure once they open it up in the springtime, make sure that they're good, all the fittings are tight, that the tank's in good shape. If not, go and, you know, you can turn in, there's many places now, you can take the tank and just get a new tank full of gas.
Yeah.
You know, it's worth the investment to have a good tank. Make sure the hoses on the barbecue grill are safe.
Right.
Test it out.
But you're seeing action in this area. People are calling you or the fire department to put things out.
Yes, we go through a number of these this time of year.
We had a serious incident 2 years ago.
A couple years ago we
with
had
colds that were still hot,
That's
and
right.
they resulted in the loss of a structure.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
That's another one. And we see that both ways. We see them charcoal grills, or we also see them in a fireplace. Sometimes people put out ashes from their fireplace, and we've had fires in the garbage cans, fencing, and depending on where they put them, you know, you're going to have an issue.
Tom, I was thinking about you recently, the dryer fires. We just recently at home had our whole dryer system cleaned out. We had somebody come in, and you really get a lot of stuff out of that.
Yes.
I was amazed. He showed us all the stuff that come out, all that lint and fuzz that come out. Is that still a problem? I know.
Well, you
you've
know,
talked about
as long as you've known me, that's been my kind
I
of.
know it has been.
That's my
I know.
top 10, right?
Right.
That's number one. People should. It really depends on the family. If it's you and your wife, you know, you may look at it once a month.
Yeah.
But if it's you and your wife and 4 and 5 and 6 kids, and you're doing laundry, you know, 2 times, 3 times a day, that adds up, and it's got to be checked a lot more often.
Right.
And like you said, a good professional cleaner to come in and clean the whole thing from the back of the dryer, even the insides of the dryer.
Yeah.
Today they build dryers, so you really can't get in. The average person can't get in and take it apart and clean it properly.
Right.
Because you got to take the drum out and the
Right.
belts off, right? And to put it back, I mean, you can take it apart, but nobody can put it back together, right?
Yeah, look the same.
So you
Right.
get a professional to do that. He comes in, he takes it apart, he can clean all that, clean out the ductwork, and outside wherever it exits the house.
Well, I think thinking of you is what made me do it at home.
Well,
Listening to your voice.
it worked then, right? That's
It
what
worked.
we want.
Oh, he's made me paranoid. I clean my I don't care what I'm doing. Every load that goes in, I clean it. And I'm also cognizant of where your dryer is and where the vent is.
Yes.
Some of these new homes, the dryer's on the interior room, and it goes quite a ways
Yep.
before
And
it
that's
vents
one of
out.
the biggest
I think
problems.
that's the problem.
Right. And every turn that it makes is also another problem. If you have it in the basement, it goes right out the wall to
Right.
the outside. Beautiful. If it's in the basement, it goes over to the ceiling and to the other side, and there's a couple turns in it.
Yep.
For every turn, you lose 35% of the flow coming out of that duct. So the
Okay.
least amount of turns, you know, and buy yourself the metal duct. Don't use what they sell for bathroom vents. The plastic hose, the white plastic, that is not made for dryers. Every now and then we see them, right? If you get good hard ductwork, that's your best. I mean, you may even have a fire in there and not even know it from the lint. But that ductwork will keep that fire in there a lot of times, and it'll suffocate it because it won't have the air for the fire to continue.
Right.
So 2 quick tips on that, right?
Yes, please.
When anybody goes home, they can check their dryer. If they look just on a wall, opposite the wall or where the dryer is, or even underneath, and they feel that lint, it's time, because that means that it's building up inside and inside that hose to go outside.
Yeah.
The other quick thing is go to the outside, and you look at what we call a bird cage. It's the
Yeah,
white
we have one of
cage
those,
that's on the house.
Yes, sir.
If you see lint packed up on there, you know you've got a problem. It's time to act. But you should do it maybe quarterly. You know, if you have
really,
a larger family, even less than that. You got to take a look at it every now and then and determine, do I need to do this 2 months or 4 months? Whatever it is you need to do, depending on the amount of loads of wash you do.
That is pretty good advice. I mean, I didn't think you had to change it or clean it that often, but that's pretty good advice, Tom. Tom, how about electrical fires? You get many of those?
Well, we used to run a lot of electrical fires, and there was some reasons for it. Back with aluminum wiring, we had a lot of aluminum wiring in the town.
Yeah.
A lot of that's been changed over now, and it's really not aluminum wiring that's bad. It is the connection that it makes to the switch, to the receptacle. what happens, the copper and the aluminum heat at different rates and cool at different rates. So them connections get loose. Next thing you know, you have an arc. Next thing you know, you have fire.
Right.
Otherwise, most people are pretty good now. I mean, you know, there's a lot of information out on the internet.
Yes, sir.
We don't like to see the multi-plug devices that don't have a fuse strip in them. But if you have the multi-plug and you have a fuse strip on it, you know, could
Yes,
have
sir.
4, 5, 6.
Right.
But you got to remember, you can't plug air conditioners into that type of wiring. You know, and some people think they can do that. You know, they got a room, they run a 25-foot cord, plug it into, you know, a 6 or an 8 receptacle. It doesn't work because you're going to burn down the house, right? You can feel the heat coming off the wires. And then they tuck it under a rug, can't breathe. That's when you have your issues.
You're trying to scare us, aren't you?
No, I don't like to try to scare
I know.
anybody. I like to try to educate.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because there are simple things that people can do.
Right.
Just take a couple minutes and go through your house. Take a walk through your house and look to see. You look at it every day, you know, and just don't walk by it. Today, do something about it.
Good advice, Tom. Thank you. Tom, one thing that's taken place, I think, in the township, and Mayor, you can comment on this too, and this is new code red system that's being implemented.
Yes.
How is that impacting you?
Well, we used to have what was called the Nixle program.
remember
People
that,
signed
yes,
up for that. Now we have what's called Code Red.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, before I talk about it, we can get right to that right on the Township website. You go into oldbridge.com. It's right on the right-hand side, Code Red. And there's also going to be something there for Register Ready, New Jersey Register Ready.
Okay.
They are two very important places I suggest everyone sign into. Okay, the Code Red is basically held at the police department, and they can put out the message. OEM can also put out the messages, but we prefer that the lieutenants, because they're getting first-hand knowledge of what's going on.
Yes, sir.
If there's an area on Route 9 with an overturned vehicle or something, they can direct that traffic away from it. Or a fire, if we had fire in the area, traffic's jammed up, they can detour people away from it. So whatever is coming, if we get a major snowstorm or a major hurricane, we may put out a blast to the public and say, listen, this is coming, prepare now, don't wait, right? So it's really working good for the people that are signed on, but out of the 70,000 people in Old Bridge, we don't have a whole heck of a lot percentage-wise signed on.
Yeah, you
So
mentioned
I would
that
ask
off
that
the air.
everybody
Why
do
not?
that.
Why wouldn't people sign up for this?
Gene, I don't know the answer to that. I strongly recommend it. It gives you current information on what is happening right now in town or what is coming.
Mayor, you have to find this helpful too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's information that I use to make decisions.
Yeah.
If I hear that Route 9 is closed, why would I head towards Route 9? I'll go up 18 to get on the turnpike.
Yeah.
It's just useful information. Why get stuck in a traffic jam? Well, if you're on your way to work, you'll get the code red. Route 9, I use Route 9, but that's our busiest highway.
Right, yeah.
But it's closed ahead, so get off as opposed to waiting to where we have it shut down.
Right.
And now that takes you an hour to loop around. And so it's a platform to give you the information you need to make decisions.
Yeah. But it's not given, like I believe we talked off the air, the 911, reverse 911. Everybody was
Right.
read into that, right?
Right, correct.
But this doesn't work
is not
that way.
like that, no. This is something that the individual homeowner,
It's a
business owner,
proactive.
and it's good for business owners too,
Yes.
because they know what's coming. They know what's going on, right?
Yeah, sure.
So we strongly recommend to sign on to that. The more people on it, the more information you'll get, and it's current. That's the most important thing. It's what's happening right now.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Folks, we're getting ready to take a break right now. We're talking with Tom Gerity, who is our fire marshal and the coordinator of the Office of Emergency Management. We're going to be back in a moment to pick up the discussion. Please stay with us. Folks, welcome back to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. Today our guest is Tom Gerity, who, as I mentioned before, is the fire marshal here in the township and also the coordinator of the Office of Emergency Management. Tom, if we can pick up one point we didn't complete before we went to the break, and that is you mentioned the New Jersey Register, Ready Register. Can you tell us about that?
New Jersey Register Ready are for special need people. If you have oxygen in your house and you need electric to that oxygen to get your oxygen, right? And the power goes out. If you're on that list, we know that you're moved up so that we know it and we can deal with it a lot quicker, right? This is another site that we suggest strongly, that even family members can register their moms or dads or grandparents, whatever. And we have kids with special needs as well. You register them there in the Office of Emergency Management. Our office here in Old Bridge, the county, we have access to that. So if the power goes out, we had power outage, a week and a half ago. We knew right down 516, I won't mention the address, but we had a person down there that had to have electric to his house, right, for special needs. He was moved up the list, if you will, right? But we have that. It's a service that it helps the person that's signing up. It helps them because we can get to them faster with the right equipment.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Tom. Mayor, as you go around and you are out in public as much as anyone here, do you get people talking about these kinds of things? Code Red, the New Jersey Register Ready? Are they conscious of it?
I encourage it any place I go. So people always ask me what happened, what happened. Well, you should sign up for Code Red, and then you would have known what happened. And I really push for the special needs. In fact, when we do have an event, one of the first things I ask Tom, does anybody need anything here? We have people on the list. A lot of people are on the home dialysis now. A lot of people on the oxygen. So it doesn't turn into a 911 emergency. We know to go there with an oxygen tank. We have the small generators that we could supply if we had to, so that we know about it in advance. And it becomes a common event as opposed to scrambling.
Right.
Getting this person out to a facility.
Okay.
So
good.
they're better off in their homes. But anytime I go around, I talk the importance of being prepared. Unfortunately, Tommy is very busy. I wish he was the Maytag repairman, but he's not. It seems like once a week we have an event where OEM is called into service, and it's so important that a town of this size be able to respond to its residents in a professional manner, which Tommy does, and his assistant, Mike Petchower, do a tremendous job, and all the resources that work for Mr. Gerity. As I said a few weeks ago, we had a severe storm came through the town. I went to all the locations, and everything was coordinated. Everything was moving in the right direction. There was no one there screaming and yelling, what do we do, what do we do? The sky was not falling. We have it under control.
Okay.
Everything is under control.
Okay, that's good to know. Tom, I sense that there's a lot of overlap between the OEM and your fire department, isn't there?
There is. And it's police department too, and EMS. It all really comes together. And that is what the Office of Emergency Management is really about. We are the coordinators to get the resources that the fire departments, EMS, police department, whatever needs they have, it's our mission to get them resources, right? And we do that by, we have staff of now 12. We have CERT, which is a group of volunteers. I'll talk to that in a minute.
Yes,
but
sir.
They are, we utilize them to do certain things as well. And it's, the more people that work together, that the bigger the job, them little pieces just put together so much easier, and the job gets done that much more efficient.
And less crisis and less
and it
drama.
frees up critical resources to allow, like we had the accidents, and we had traffic control. There was tractor trailers stuck in neighborhoods. First thing I said was get OEM out here. They came with their trucks. They took over for the officers that now were able to go do, other duties.
Okay.
Police officers. So just whenever you have more than one agency on site, I think OEM is always involved.
Yeah, it has to be, I guess, huh?
Well,
the
fire departments and first aids are excellent in town, and they do a lot. But as incidents get bigger, and the more of them there are, it could be anything from a fire to an accident, to a hurricane, to whatever else comes through this town, right? So
Tom, how about drills and exercises? You must have some kind of a
Yes.
program. Right? I remember we used to do the drills. We used to videotape them years back. You still have them though?
We recently had a major drill where we evacuated an entire school
Oh, really?
of about 800 kids, relocated them by bus to another school, did it in a timely manner with 0 issues. And it was a good collaboration between the schools, police department, OEM, EMS, everybody that participated. The thing came off very well.
And the
Very
emphasis was on what? The evacuation or the
Evacuation.
emergency itself? Or
Yes, because we never know today, Gene. You know, it used to be when I started this business, you talk about exits in schools
Yes, sir.
because of fire. Today, you got to think much more broader than just fire.
Well said.
School shootings, stabbings, you know, everything plays into that today. So there could be a time when we need to take an entire school population and relocate it.
Gas
we never
leak,
tried
loss
it,
of
right?
power.
And
Yeah.
we've had a
Never get these
few of
kids out
gas
of
leaks, right? That happens. Accidents happen to where that may cause that building to need to be evacuated.
Yeah.
And that population, when you're moving 800 people, that's a lot to do.
That's a lot
you
to-
need
yeah.
a lot of buses, a lot of coordination. You know, and I did not say before, but the teachers in the
Teachers play a
school,
critical role.
all of them, everybody, and the nurses as well, because they got to still take care of the kids that need their medications during that
Right.
period of time.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that came together. That was the first time Old Bridge tried it.
Right.
Dave Sedadino, that was his kind of brainchild idea.
Yes, sir.
It worked out excellent, and we have good rapport with Dave and the schools
Right.
and all the Board of Ed, because they're an important part of us too. You know, they're just another link in the chain for OEM.
It's quite an interacting system, isn't it, Mayor?
Yes.
When you get
it's,
down to it.
And it's so important in a
Yeah.
town of this size.
It really is. In
You
a
know,
town,
it's
as you
not-
said, 70,000.
It's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to
it's gonna
happen.
happen.
We've learned that in Old Bridge.
Oh
Yeah.
We are no stranger to crazy.
I know, unfortunately, some of the
Yes.
sadder things we've had happen here. Tom, CERT, talk a little bit about CERT, will you please? Community Emergency Response Team. Okay.
Right. So there's kind of 2 different things if you look at it, right? The first thing with CERT is you take and go through a CERT program for your own family's well-being.
Yeah.
You learn different things about bleeding control, CPR, what to do in case there's a fire, how to do different things in your home, right? It educates you just on your family.
Okay.
If you take all of the classes, then you can become part of the Old Bridge CERT team, which that team is people that I can activate on a moment's notice. We have a major incident right now. We have a train derailment or 2 buses on Route 9 or whatever the case is, right? This is a resource that kind of backs up emergency services. Somebody's got to give them order out there on the scene, emergency responders, right?
Right.
You may, if it's a long incident, a day, a 2, 3 days, somebody's got to be the background and bring you supplies for this stuff. Bathrooms, right? Food. That's all things that they can do that relieves emergency services from utilizing your manpower to do that kind of stuff, and they stay focused on whatever that event is.
But to your point earlier, volunteers.
All volunteers.
volunteers.
All volunteers. And I got to tell you, they're led by Ruth Matthews, who's their
Yeah,
president, who, if you know Ruth,
I know Ruth.
she is around as much as the mayor myself. I mean, she is that much into it. She's been a president for a number of years, I think
sir.
8 years. She's been a member for 18 or 19 years. And there's many like that in CERT. They are dedicated people.
Really?
And when the call goes in, they're there.
They're there.
And they also, another major thing that they take care of and they're responsible for is sheltering.
Shelter.
If we have a hurricane or something where we have a lot of people get displaced from their home, could be a fire, whatever it is, right? We pick a location. It could be a school. It could be one of the township buildings. We have churches, right? We can send them there, and I'll give them an hour. They'll have as many cots set up as you need.
Really?
Food, water, whatever it is to run that shelter, they're responsible to take care of them issues.
Do these volunteers have any special background, any special expertise? Do they come to you trained in these kind of
Some
things?
of them do. Some come from other states where they had a little bit of fire experience or EMS. Or sometimes it's just they work in an office, and their administrative background helps us in different things too, because today everything gets a report. Everything's a piece of paper. Everything's in a file or on a computer, right?
Yeah.
So whatever they can bring to help us, we utilize it.
And we take advantage of that, whatever your
Absolutely.
talents might
Sure,
be.
Mayor, yeah.
And it's not only in times of disaster; they're also mobilized in times, in good times. Whenever we have a mass assembly, they're responsible. The Mayor's 5K run, they came out. When we have large events over at the athletic fields, they come out. And just for crowd support, parking,
Right, parking,
critical to
crowd
make
control.
people know when they get to an event where to go. And CERT is really good at that, directing people on where to park and how to get to the event. So.
How many people insert did you
Right now,
realize?
there's probably 300 to 400 that are trained.
Really?
There's probably
surprised.
60 to 75 that are active, and there's probably 30 of them that at any given minute you push the button, they'll be there.
I think
So
that's
they're
fantastic.
very
That's where
interesting.
volunteers definitely come in handy. And we
Great
both
resource
employ
to have,
volunteers.
especially when you need people
this
in a
township.
hurry. Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
And there'll
I
be a
guess.
new CERT class starting, just to throw a pitch in there, October 20th, I believe it is. It's the third Saturday in October. So we'll be starting a whole nother class.
Okay.
It's 2 hours a night for 10 weeks, 20 hours total, and you become a CERT member.
Okay.
And people enjoy the experience.
Yes.
A lot of people have come to me and say, wow,
Yeah, I bet
it's one of
they
the best
do,
things
yeah.
they've done in a long time. And at Old Bridge Day, we'll have a table there, be able
Mm-hmm.
to sign up for those classes.
Okay. Tom, you mentioned that volunteers, and you used the phrase people power, huh?
Absolutely. Volunteers and people power is one of the main things that emergency services can always use. Fire, EMS, we're always looking for help.
Okay.
Always.
Tom, October is Fire Safety Month.
Yes. Gets busy for us in October.
Yeah.
Actually, we start in mid-September and we go right in through the first week or two of November. We hit every school. We talk to every grade. We do the senior citizens. We do some of the preschoolers as young as 3 years old, where we'll
Really?
do stop, drop, and roll, crawl, loam, and smoke, videos. We talk to anybody who's got a set of ears and wants to listen.
Importance of smoke detectors. We always
Absolutely.
emphasize smoke detectors in October.
Okay, and Tom, I know you're going to be out there on Old Bridge Day as well, kicking off a lot of this as you usually are. And folks, Old Bridge Day is coming up in September, and you'll see a lot of it on the website if you'll check. But you'll be out there starting the ball rolling there too, huh?
Yes, I'll be there. I'm sure Tommy Hart, the other fire marshal, for the other side of town. We'll have our fire safety trailers there for the kids to crawl through,
Right.
handouts. And if anybody's interested in any one of the emergency services or would like to volunteer to join CERT, please just come up to me and see me. I won't bite your head off, but we'll
Okay.
give you the application, point you in the right direction.
Auxiliary
Tom.
police is also
I'm sorry.
a volunteer. The auxiliary police officers.
Auxiliary police,
We're always
that's
looking
right.
for volunteers to
Yeah,
help with the
that's
auxiliary
true.
police.
Tom, thank you for coming in. Thanks for
You're
doing
quite
such a
welcome.
great job, as I said, Mayor, with all the hats this guy wears, huh?
Yes, we're
Keeps
fortunate
busy.
to have them.
He keeps busy. He keeps you busy. Okay, Tom, thank you again, huh? Good
Thank
luck
you.
out there. Stay safe.
Okay,
And
we
Mayor,
will.
thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Please enjoy the rest of your summer.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's almost over.
Oh, I can't either. I really
but
can't.
pool safety,
Yep.
back to school pretty soon. I don't want to ruin
Yeah.
it for everyone, but
Yeah, we don't want to ruin that. But
Everyone,
back to school's
please
a whole
stay
other,
safe.
Yeah, but back to school's a whole other issue, huh? Okay, folks, this has been Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. We've been talking with Tom Gerity about the fire department, about the CERT group, and about the Office of Emergency Management. Please keep watching Channel 15. We'll see you next time on another program. I'm Gene McLaughlin. Take care.